Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to go over my Orc crown build. If anybody's watched some of my videos, you know I don't really particularly enjoy running groups, but I kind of got challenged if I was going to be a crown, what type of character would it be, how would it be built, and that's kind of where I came up with this build and settled down with how it functions and still allow me to kind of play the way I enjoy and still able to have some fun. So let's get right into it. So as the name suggests, we are an orc. We get the max stamina, a little bit extra health, and when we deal damage with a weapon ability, we get the extra heal. This is pretty good. It's not like a huge heal or anything like that, but it's just one more extra passive heal that we're getting on a stamina sorcerer. So it really works out nicely. Of course, we're going to get that increased weapon damage, and the reduced cost of sprint and the extra sprint speed is great for Cyrodiil. Now, to start off on our main attack bar, we're going to run a specialty weapon. If you're going to be taking a lot of keeps, flipping a lot of flags, fighting against Zergs, greatly outnumbered in your group, stuff like that, then I would use the Master's Greatsword. It increases the direct damage of cleave by 1550 for each enemy in its cone. There are times where you got enough NPCs around and enemies that you're going to be critting enemy players for 15,000 on this move. So it's well worth it if you're going to be fighting those type of fights. If you're going to run this more one-on-ones, or you know, just some solo play, or just trying the 2vx with it, then I would definitely use the Frenzy two-hander. Back bar, we're going to have Clever Alchemist Bow. We're going to run it infused with the weapon damage enchantment. We're going to be proccing all of our potions on the back bar. Coarse Bowels for what we're going to run for our monster set. If you're going to be doing more solo, then I would run your head in heavy, chest in heavy, pick up the extra resistance, some of the extra passives from the heavy armor to help out. If you're going group play, go all damage, go in with all medium. You can also switch your monster set out for blood spawn if you don't have any healers. Just kind of adjust that to the type of stuff that you're going to be doing with the build. I have in-pin on everything, but I would suggest running 2 to 3 in well-fitted, depending on how much you dodge roll. Help out the survivability and your cost when doing that. The next set that we're pairing with all this is New Moon Acolyte. One of the biggest reasons we are running New Moon is because you're getting weapon and spell damage. Balrogs is giving us weapon and spell damage as well, plus weapon and spell penetration. Clever Alchemist proc and the 4-piece is giving us weapon and spell damage also. Why is this a big deal for a crown? The reason why you want your crown to have a mixture of both like that is for synergies. So if you have people dropping magic synergies that you're hitting, then you're going to be doing the most damage with them as opposed to an all weapon damage build. So this gives you more functionality, helps out the overall damage of the group. Pretty important if you're running crown that you have something in that nature. All the jewelry is going to be infused with weapon damage. if you're having trouble sustaining because you're not getting synergies, you could run one of these in a reduced cost glyph, still infused. That'll give you, for most of your abilities, over a 10% cost reduction. Alright, so for our primary bar, our active skills are going to start with Reverse Slice. It's a great execute. Going to have Dark Deal to go ahead and give us a little bit of a mini burst heal, with allowing us to really help manage our resources. Camouflaged Hunter is a great move to have slotted. It's going to give us the extra weapon critical, which is really good with the StamSorc. With our Hurricane up, it's just going to help us keep that extra tick of crits every second to keep that passive heal going. Plus, we have a lot of AoE damage going on, so we're constantly going to be hitting people that are considered flanking hits, which is going to give us the minor berserk proc to increase our damage by 5%. Carve, if you're using the Master Greatsword, obviously is a must. It does decent damage, but again, it has the extra dot, something else that's ticking every second to help our heal stay up. If we're in a keep or on a flag and there's a lot of NPCs or just a ball group fight, it actually increases and does a lot of damage. It's very good. If you're going to be using the Frenzy Momentum for the secondary weapon choice, then go ahead and do that for small scale and slot that there. D-Swing, of course, we want to help set them off balance, get the extra 10% damage from our CP passives. Does great damage. Now, a lot of people might run Dawnbreaker here, but there's a really good reason behind Onslaught. Not only does it do great damage and really helps increase the damage of all of our other moves by giving us that physical and spell penetration, but because we are Crown, we're going to be kind of the tip of the spear in the way we play. We're going to have people dropping Gravity Crush in front of us for us to activate. If we're popping this off before we activate that, that's going to just help increase the overall damage of that synergy. Plus, again, it really synergizes well with all the sets we're doing. It's increasing our spell damage as well. So the magic synergies, plus we're going to be using Streak ourselves, so it's going to give us a little bit of extra damage out of that. Nothing like world changing, but it is nice. Bombard, we're using this. While it does have fairly good damage, it's a group AoE immobilize. So we're going to be running the combination where we fire off a Bombard. It immobilizes people right in front of us, helps us to line up our streak to hit the most players because they can't move because they're immobilized, and then you're giving them the hard stun on top of that. So you're getting the double CC that they have to break. It's really good to lead into the group burst with that combination. Resolving Vigor is going to be our heal. Hurricane, of course, is going to be our major resistance buff. A little bit of extra damage, the AoE to help tick and get our heals, help keep minor berserk up. Crit Surge is a must. Get that extra heal from all your crit damage every second. It really helps the survivability of this build. Temporal Guard, just to get the extra damage mitigation on our back bar. So something you want to focus on too with this build that I haven't done yet is leveling Undaunted. Get the extra max resources is nice, but really the Undaunted command is what you're going to want to focus on. This is going to give you the extra resources. It's really going to help your sustain, since you're going to be the one activating all the synergies that are getting dropped on top of you. especially if you have a Templar healer that's dropping shards to help keep your resources up. So with this being a clever alchemist build, obviously our pots are going to be a big part of how we're playing. So make sure that you do have your medicinal use passive to make sure your resulting effects are lasting the extra 30%. For our food, we're going to be using our Tam takeaway broth. It just gives us the most sustain. So for pots, there's a few different things that I run. At the start of a fight, when you're initially engaging, you're at full resources, everything's good. I like to run these Essence of Health potions for the simple fact it's going to give us the extra 5,000 resistance for both spell and physical. And you're roughly at an 8% damage mitigation when you have these effects up. But I'm just lining up the initial burst. I'll go ahead and use this pot so I have the extra resistance when I burst into the group. Of course, you want tripods. For one, you need the extra resources, especially to keep your streaks up. And your Essence of Immovability, get the immune to knockback and disabling effects, plus your health with stamina. So for your Mundus Stone, if you're in CP, just run the Warrior. If you're going to be in non-CP, then I would suggest the Steed to help get the extra movement and get the health recovery. For champion points, gonna go 51 into Warlord for our break freeze, 39 into Sprinter. We are a very athletic character. Speed, running, movement have to have the reduced cost. I just dumped extra points into Tenacity, 64 into Mooncalf, 56 into Healthy, 56 into Tumbling. Okay, we're gonna put 15 points into Blessed just to help our own personal healing a little bit. We're gonna drop 66 into Master of Arms. We're putting 11 into Physical Weapon just to help our light attacks a little bit more, but also so we get the passive for the Butcher. The extra 2 points that we have, we're just dumping into Thaumaturge. 61 into Precise Strikes, 51 into Piercing, 64 into Mighty. For our defense, we're going to run 61 into Ironclad, 56 into Resistant, 49 into Hardy and Elemental Defender, 23 into Thick Skin, 32 into Quick Recovery. So if you'd like to see a little bit more as far as that opening burst combo where we immobilize and stun and how to burst in like that, I do have a gameplay linked here that you guys can watch and enjoy. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, leave them down below. I'll respond to them as soon as I can. And as always, guys, thank you for taking the time to watch these videos.